A full year of Hearthstone competition has reached a climax. Thousands of top players have competed around the world, but only 2 remain. And now it's time for them to compete for the biggest title in Hearthstone. It is time to crown a 2016 World Champion. Please welcome our first finalist from Ukraine, Dr. Hippie. His opponent, hailing from Russia, seeking redemption by becoming the world champion the following year. Please welcome Pavel.
Yeah, he can take down the Van Cleave with the spells that he has. I mean, of course, from his perspective, he can survive, but Pavel has Bite. That's 4 damage. He has Sinister Strike. That's 3 damage. He'll have the SI7 agent on the board. That's 3 more. That's plenty of damage to end the game.
And we said Bite looked a little innocuous off the Swashbuckler earlier, but it will be Pavel with that Bite burst. This is the last turn for Dr. Hippie for the World Championship, and this is the last turn before Pavel. He will do it. The Bite, the Sinister Strike, the attack. Pavel is your 2016 Hearthstone World Champion.
1 game away from BlizzCon last year, comes into this year and wins the World Championship.
He took his near miss last year as inspiration, motivation, and it took him all the way to the title, all the way to the trophy. He is now the champion.
What an impressive performance from that young man, and Dan is standing by on stage with our champion.
Congratulations, Pavel. I present to you the 2016 Hearthstone World Champion.
Sorry, I just dropped something. Whoever gets to actually... Oh,
Both
they
players.
both drew a Cthulhu. Pavel can play his first. I'm pretty sure that means Pavel wins with the Sylvanas Shield Slam mirror going on. That is a hell of a lot of damage. Also, Pavel just has a minion on board as well, so it's going to soak up a bit more from the Cthulhu.
Yeah, I don't think he needs to shield slam it even.
He needs to, well, he needs to steal the Cthulhu. Oh, sorry,
No,
Mario. Yeah,
Pavel doesn't need to shield slam his own Cthulhu.
Because of he's got the Sylvanas.
Yeah.
As well. If Sylvanas Shield Slam comes out, and he just Sylvanas Shield Slams as well, gonna make it a little bit more difficult now though with the Ghoul.
I have no time for games.
Yeah, so Mariadell is not stealing this Cthulhu, he's just
Ooh,
going to
hang
go
on.
and kill it.
Yeah, and this...
Pavel
so
only has a 50-50 at stealing
this
Sylvanas.
stops the next...
Oh, never mind.
Oh!
Game's over. Right? Pavel
Cthulhu
just
finishes cast. It's not like Yogg, right? It finishes casting even if it's stolen afterwards.
It doesn't even matter.
Oh no,
Shield Slam
Slams
does
it,
it
of course.
first.
Guys,
it's
I
super safe.
apologize. The Shield Slam, it's late. We've had a long day of...
I don't know what he needs to get.
I guess it's deal 2 damage to all minions and gain armor, but I don't think it's enough,
It's
is it?
not enough armor. It's looking like
No, it's not.
RDU's going to take it. Is there
Yep.
something that we've missed? Is there something that the casters have got wrong? It's been known.
Armor, deal 2 damage. He got the perfect potion. I guess if he was able to gain armor and resummon the Second Rate Bruiser, that would have been enough.
It is enough, right? Because you can't. RDU only has 6 mana.
He only has 6 mana.
So it is enough. And it's going to get into the situation where Reno Jackson is going to take this for Pavel by the look of things.
Oh my goodness! What a turnaround! Pavel gets the potion he needs. Of course, with 1 mana, we've established there is a higher chance of that happening. So, not
But it had to be the
shot.
perfect potion. He had to clear, and he had to get the armor.
Yeah.
And Pavel, yet again, looks like he's going to take down a major tournament, having been 2-1 behind. RDU doing all he can, going through the motions.
Oh,
He's praying
at
there's
him.
no Reno Jackson. And just check his reaction out here. He's going to be so gutted. He knows he's lost if this is Reno. And Pavel is going to be even richer. Radu can't believe it. He's under Kazaka's perfect potion. Reno. Pavel is going to take down a second title in 3 days. 3-2 in the final. This guy might be quite good at Hearthstone.
I'm sorry, I'm not saying this. I'm just sitting here with my mouth wide open. I do not know what I just saw. This is one of the closest games of Hearthstone that I've seen in such a long time. RDU so close to lethal for several turns. It really looked like he was going to make it, but Pavel with the Kazakus. In fact, I even thought RDU had lethal until you pointed out.
Just keep an eye on it just for 1 or 2 more seconds, because this Hunter Power is getting a little bit of work done. I don't think it's going to matter. There's Jiraxis, there's Refreshment Vendor, and it's going to clear the board. I'm pretty sure it's over, but something like an Arcanite, well, specifically exactly Arcanite Reaper, might just make us have to sort of panic for a moment in terms of our call here. But you're right, it's basically over. Let's see if we can get an Arcanite Reaper and at least keep the game alive. And that's even threatening lethal the other way now, so that is the end.
Yeah. And then Jiraxis is 3 more damage next turn. There's the Arcanite Reaper as well. Things so almost went RDU's way this game.
Yeah, at this point, Green Sheep wishes he had a Graviton Auctioneer in his deck, but he's got nothing else really going for him. And, the fact that Pavel's going to be able to have Archmage and Tinnitus on the board, uncontested, this late into the game, just means that there's really nothing much that Green Sheep can do. He's using all of his resources defensively.
This is pretty much checkmate here from Pavel.
As if he needed any more help.
Not only does he have the Antonitis that is going to stick, he picks up Reno Jackson. He doesn't need the help, but it's there anyway.
And so, looks like we're coming up on the close of this series here. Pavel doesn't really need anything more to seal his victory, and this would equivocate to a 3-0 sweep over Green Sheep.
Green Sheep's fighting back. He's killing the Antonitis. It does die, but he has a Shatter in hand as a rogue.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've all been in this position where it just feels like we've gotten useless cards from our opponent's class. What else does Pavel really need?
The Rubin Reno.
Yeah.
And Green Sheep sends out the well played. He will concede, and Pavel is the Europe Winter Champion.
What a great story to just see Pavel come back from BlizzCon.
0-2. Easy for you to say now, but definitely nothing easy about this performance from Doc Pone. He is scrapping away. The veteran of competitive gaming in general is finding a way back into this series. Squared up 3 games to 3 now against the world champion.
Yep, and we are going to see Pavel, of course, on his mage again. It's the last deck he has to win with, since this is Conquest, of course, and Doc Pone has the Shaman. Tell me a little bit about this deck, because I feel like the length of this series, we've not really spoken about it, and feels like a long time ago last time we saw him play.
Yeah, we haven't spoken about it. I don't believe we've seen it being played in this series, if that's incorrect. Please forgive me. We've seen a lot of games, a lot of Shamans over this week, but this is a pure mid-range from Doc Pone. It's only got a small amount of Jade cards in there, just the Jade Lightnings, the Jade Claws, and the Aya Blackpaw. Then it's got things from below, it's got Bloodlust, and a single copy of Thunder Bluff Valiant, which we saw make an unwelcome appearance for Pavel in the previous game.
Yeah, and Doc Pone, I know you have a gripe about things such as Tunnel Trog coming out from a mid-range Shaman all of the time on turn 1, but Pavel does have the Doomsayer available to him, and there is no great answers really. Well, there are answers if he really wants to. But do you really want to in this situation, Saul? Is it worth?
I mean, it's a big commitment for sure.
Exactly.
Did
you develop the Flame Tongue?
Wait, what's your play?
Oh, I was going to Flame Tongue, Coin, Lightning Bolt.
Flame Tongue, Coin, Lightning Bolt is 347. Yeah, it would be a massive commitment though.
I like the way you checked. Can I count to 7 maths?
I mean, stranger things have happened. It looks like Doc Pone is going to go for it. It does overload him significantly, but he does still have the J-Claws follow-up on the next turn, so we'll keep developing. Most importantly, if you see tempo to the control deck this early in this matchup, that probably spells death. So the recognition of the situation here, pretty strong, but Pavel not going to be perturbed by this, just going to keep on developing, keep on cycling, try and get into some of his board freeze, board stall, and AoE effects in the future turns.
Whereas Doc Pone's just going to drop a Totem Golem on him, I believe, on this turn. Raw indeed. J-Claws can be played and was probably the go-to plan before this card was drawn, but J-Claws is not needed this turn because I have no doubt that Doc Pone wants to kill this Acolyte in one hit, and that is what the Tunnel Trog is for.
Yeah, J-Claws is not the most ridiculous thing. It puts like a small token on the board that can potentially get value out of the Flame Tongue totem, but...
Totem Golem's a Totem Golem. That's my in-depth explanation.
Is a strong counter-argument, yeah. I got nothing to come back against that. Totem Golem, one of the biggest terrors in the game since the day it was released, and soon to be dearly departed.
Pavel's best friend, the Babbling Book, coming out for him there. Getting their torch means he can choose to clear off the Tunnel Trog if he really wants, or the Flame Tongue. Always a hard decision, as it's never really a straightforward play.
Yeah, X-Hope may have a special relationship with a hat, but Pavel has a special relationship with a book. This is quite literally the card that gives him what he needs on demand, famously with that polymorph in the World Championship run against Amnesiac.
And now J-Claws seems, although off curve, a little bit more smooth, as you're going to get that instant value by one overloading onto the Trog for a +1 and clearing up the Babbling Book very, very easily. And now Pavel can use one of his 5-drops here just on curve, but the mid-range Shaman should do this. This is so much damage that's available. We can see Bloodlust is available, not this turn because of the overload.
Oh boy.
Okay. Okay.
This is getting serious. This is what mid-range Shaman will do to you if it just manages to successfully roleplay as an aggro deck somehow. How does this deck manage to do this with such consistency?
Shaman. That's how.
Good explanation.
It's just what it does. We've seen Shaman actually, drop in the class picks, in this tournament because of the nerfs we discussed previously throughout the past couple of days. And it's actually had one of the best win rates as a class in this tournament, nearing 60%, which is pretty impressive. That was a little bit earlier on, I think. I'm not sure exactly how the percentages look at this moment in time. But Dogpound is feeling pretty good. Are you surprised with this trade?
A little bit, yeah. Choosing to trade here might just give Pavel a turn or two. Does he have lethal set up? There is 9 on board, plus 9 more from the Bloodlust, meaning that Pavel can play his Emperor here. Is that too passive from Dogpound? Is that moment of weakness going to cost him in this series?
Maelstrom Portal into Boar, just for extra minions. It's not going to be able to do anything because of Bloodlust. It's going to be 1 mana off, but I don't know, that looks crazy to me. He didn't need to trade. I mean, the idea is he would have lost the thing from below anyway with a ping, but that would have also reduced Pavel's turn down because of the ping. 2 mana means that, you can't just curve out bigger minions, curve out Emperor for the value, even, as your Drake. There just aren't that many good plays Pavel can do with 4 mana at the rest of the game.
And the simple fact that he would have dealt 6 additional damage already. I mean, what he did, it plays around Reno. It keeps clean control of the board. It means if Reno comes down, he's kept the game progressing on his terms.
Yeah, this is, maybe we're putting this across incorrectly. This is not a strictly wrong play. We are not saying that in any way, shape, or form. It is just with Bloodlust available in such a strong position, 1 hit to face with that Trog sets up lethal unless something truly crazy happens. Dogpound is now going to trade away the Emperor with the help of the Totem Golem and has still gone very wide on the board. Pavel is under a lot of pressure and doesn't really have a great way to deal with any of this. Arcane Select coming out for him now to cycle into some options. The reduction is going to help with the Fireball and the Nova, but never mind, he can stall this game out if he wants. But he can just Fireball ping to reduce, the board down to an effect where there's 2 power on the board. Are you really bothered about Frost Nova versus being able to do that instead? You can save Frost Nova for next turn.
Yeah, no, I'm not suggesting it here. It's just the long-term ability for him to stall is just growing piece by piece here. Now he can potentially Kazakus and Frost Nova in the same turn, which locks out the board.
Is that a weapon?
That's J-Claws.
That's the weapon. That is going to be exact damage to finish this game. Dogpound looked up and
he's going to count.
I was going to say.
He's going to take his
stalling,
time here.
But that is it. Dogpound takes down the world champion, knocks him out of this tournament, and it's going to be Dogpound from a 0-2 down start against Pavel, going to be taking this series and moving on in this tournament.
Incredible performance. I just said it, but a ton of people had already counted him out, as you see the world.
And I think when he's staring out this much damage,
The conclusion has been made. A big smile comes across his face here. He's gonna play the Bog Reaper.
Your pal, the Bog Champ. He gets a chance to shine too.
I think very fondly of that card. It's not that good in this position.
Really, why?
Well, when you're staring down infinite damage, you tend to struggle with just a 6/8 taunt minion. Does Pavel have lethal right here, right now?
I kind of love that Pavel's just in the tank. He's still, despite the fact that he has such an insurmountable advantage here, he's just trying to figure out, how do I do this right?
Well, I think he can do it right now. He has an ability to push a lot of damage this turn. Another pint-sized potion allows him to steal, lets him get more damage. Pavel sees the lines. He played the right decks. He made the right plays. And we have ourselves a summer champion. For 2017, it is a repeat performer. Bend the knee, Onyx. You are staring at the king of Europe. Pavel is your summer champion.
What an incredible performance. 10-0. 2 championships in a single year. Pavel is unbelievable.
We might never see something like this again for a long time in Hearthstone. 2 seasons he's played in 2017, and we mentioned it multiple times. And again, hats off to a great run for a first-timer in Onyx, but the moment belongs to a man that we've seen on the podium before, and it's Pavel from Russia, once again, conquering the titan amount of field of opponents from Europe.
And there are people who joke at the World Championship, you know, Pavel just standing there with the trophy above his head. I don't know if he ever need to take it down. He just keeps getting trophy after trophy after trophy.
Orange and Pavel signaling each other that they're ready to go with like a whimsical smile because they realize what's on the line here. One game decides who is going to the World Championship and who continues to play for the title of the crown.
Orange with an excellent opening hand already. He has a Firefly for turn 1, the Devolve and Maelstrom, great ways to react to your opponent. Not necessarily great to apply pressure though, so going first, Orange may evaluate whether he wants to keep these in his opening hand.
Yeah, Firefly, definitely a great choice. Pavel, not even happy with any of his opening cards. Gonna be looking for other things like Jade Claws, which can have huge impact for snowballing the board. Flame Tongue Totem also valuable as well. And it seems like one of those dead cards you were talking about, Bloodlust, or will it be so dead? We'll find out here.
Orange opens the Firefly, finds a Primal Fin Totem as his first draw. Pavel, though, no early plays, just Flame Tongue Totems in his hand.
Shaman versus Shaman is extremely volatile, just like it was before. It all determines on who can really win the board convincingly, but can you bounce back from any big board sweeps? Maelstrom Portal, just as important as it was a year ago.
Brawl is the draw for Pavel. A great card if he gets to the late game.
This is looking bad already here. Because Orange is out to an early lead with that Primal Fin Totem. And Pavel mulliganed really fast, but I think he also had a Primal Fin Totem in his opening hand. Chose to go for a very big gamble. Right now it's not paying off, but again, we're still in the early stages of the game, and Orange is holding back.
We see Orange respect the threat of Maelstrom Portal and Devolve from Pavel, decides to trade in a 1/1 rather than try and value trade with the 1/2, as well as not deploy his Flame Element. He wants to try and maximize the value of this board he has and keep a reload.
Yeah, and you can see that Pavel hesitated immediately. And with that Maelstrom Portal, will come back onto the board here, and that's what Orange was, he was suspecting a little bit.
Orange has Maelstrom Portal of his own, finds a Corsair, can find his patches if he wants. And we see, you know, both players, as you mentioned, have not had success with Shaman this weekend. It has been the weak point of their lineup so far.
I wonder if Orange wants to toss in a Portal or Hero Power. It's kind of close. But the thing is about the Maelstrom Portal is that he doesn't actually have a real way to follow it up. He's got 2 Devolves in the Maelstrom Portal, so in a way, this is Orange's hope that he draws something really good.
And now Orange has a wide board, but very little to do with it. He kept that Devolve and the Maelstrom Portal in his hand. He has since drawn another Devolve and another Maelstrom Portal. He has a firm control of the board at this point, with 6 minions to 0, but no way to leverage it just yet.
I wonder.
Pavel knows the dangers of a Flame Tongue Totem coming out here. It would wipe his thing from below,
and would pressure him significantly. But if he doesn't do anything, he also is staring at 6 minions with 18 guaranteed bloodlust damage.
We've seen Pavel play most of his turns in this tournament very quickly. He now recognizes the gravity of the situation, the importance of every decision.
I mean, Orange has 1 bloodlust in his deck, and now you can see the pain of Pavel drawing both of them in back-to-back crucial games here.
Thing from below comes down. As of now, it will stymie the offense from Orange.
Doppelgangster not really doing too much, but it can load up some pressure, and Orange also got some pretty valuable information. If there was a board to go for a Maelstrom Portal, this would be it, so number 2 is not in his hand.
The reactive hand from Orange, while he controls the board, is preventing him from pushing to guarantee himself that spot in the World Championship. He does have that Zealous Initiate he got off the Maelstrom Portal, which gives him a little bit of extra trading power. That will give one of his minions +1/+1 when it dies. So he doesn't have to trade in his entire board. Gonna continue to take it slow, recognizing the Doppelgangster is much more powerful if he combine it with Devolve, or rather Evolve. He has the Devolves.
There is little time.
Portal number 2 comes out. That's Orange's main mechanic to get back onto the board if he loses it, but he doesn't intend on doing so.
Evolve for Pavel. He now has Thrall, Bloodlust, Bloodlust, Evolve, Double Flame Tongue, all cards that are incredibly powerful if he can stick any minions on the board, and he has none.
What can you do if you're in Pavel's situation? This is quite possibly one of the worst draws he could have asked for.
You can hope your opponent's hand is Devolve, Doppelgangster.
That's what he's relegated to. There's no point in playing out those Flame Tongue totems if your opponent just gets really easy value trades and generates more 1/1s. That Primal Fin early on doing wonders for Orange right now.
It really has been the star of Orange's hand here.
I was wondering if he even wants to evolve just for tempo on the board.
Jade Lightning picked up. That will enable Orange to continue to develop his board if he wishes.
Yeah.
Doesn't have much to do with his mana otherwise. He could just devolve here. He could just attack into these, swipe them off the board. He's going to have a minion to trade, at least, with the Searing Totem to give him a full board once again. That totem just keeps generating Murlocs. He's taking it slow and steady.
Really slow. And I mean, Pavel probably has a pretty good read on what Orange's hand is right now. Eye of Blackpaw, Cypher Sore Eyes immediately being played. Is this the push that Pavel needed, or is it too late?
Thing from below, that can really help up Orange's clock.
Yeah, it actually fits perfectly with Jade Lightning. Unless Orange wants to also use the Devolve this turn to try and not let the Jades ramp up.
I wonder.
Whew, there was a handful. There's some 5-cost minions there that could also definitely fight Orange back, but that's definitely one of the weaker 5-mana minions at just 3 health.
And Orange once again taking it slow, getting as much value as he can possibly squeeze off this Primal Fin Totem. This thing from below he drew, absolutely crucial, giving him far more threat than he had every turn before.
Yeah, now there's some real damage balance on the board. Healing Totem also pretty big. Bloodsail Corsair comes into the hand, and that was something Pavel would have wanted 5 turns, 6 turns ago maybe. He does have an interesting evolve possibility here. If Bloodsail Corsair with Thrall, Deathseer, and Evolve, it does get his minions up to 4 mana minions. And that's something to fight back onto the board. There's also the fact that you can hold on to the patches being pulled out with Flame Tongue Totem and save that for an instance. But it's not nearly as strong, but you can use one evolve. So you can Bloodsail Corsair, Hero Power, Flame Tongue Totem, trade into the Taunt Totem, and then evolve.
It will not be that play for Pavel this turn. It starts with the Hero Power. And this board for Orange, it's all cheap minions anyway. The Devolve in Pavel's hand does very little.
And he's very much dead to a Bloodlust.
And I think he recognizes that one. He thinks that Bloodlust is a card that makes a lot of sense to be in Orange's hand the way he's played this game. Decides to commit his Flame Tongue and Patches.
Yeah, but I mean, Orange also, he's definitely had a subpar draw, just not nearly as bad as Pavel's.
This is really both players just scrapping. Both players dealing with draws that are not at all what they're looking for.
During the break, Kilber, I was saying, Shaman vs. Shaman can have some crazy moments with just the evolves back and forth, and you know the state of the board constantly shifts. In this case, it's just that both players barely able to do anything. That's a second devolve.
And we can see Orange value trading on these Wisps and Penguins with his 1/2s and his Healing Totem up.
I mean, if he Hero Powers, he just fills up the board right back. Pavel needs Doppelgangster or something else equivalent.
Primal Fin Totem. That was great for Orange turn 2. Here, turn 8 for Pavel. It is not what he was looking for.
Well, he knows that that Orange probably doesn't have Bloodlust. I mean, that's really hard not to pull the trigger on that much damage for Bloodlust. You have 6 minions, and then if Orange didn't have a really good play, he'd probably use it. Pavel looks like he's just gonna, once again, hope that Orange doesn't draw the winning card here. Evolve.
That can be huge. Orange has 8 damage on the board already. He can evolve potentially to a big board, but there is a risk here because Orange is so firmly in control of this game right now. Evolve could potentially turn one of his 1-drop minions into a Doomsayer and wipe out his entire board. I feel like we'll likely see Orange hold on to that Evolve, potentially to pair with Doppelgangster, and in a situation where perhaps he is not so firmly in control. Maybe he goes for it, though.
I mean, I agree with you. I'd rather not test fate at this point. You're still firmly ahead. Your opponent has had to have one of the worst draws that you've ever seen here. I mean, you can't really blame Orange for being careful. He's trying to take every single risk aversion line he can think of right now.
It's all on the line in this game. He holds off. He does not want to run the risk that the end comes for him.
And finally, Pavel has a play. He's got Serenite Chain Gang, Thrall Deathseer as a big combo.
How long can this go on?
Needs something big.
Can this go on? I am the frozen heart of the scourge.
He's got some stats. He's got
Bloodlust,
but
off the top. Orange has defeated the champion and is going to the World Championships.
Pavel was knocking on the door to history, but Orange slammed it shut, and it will be he who represents Europe in Amsterdam.
Pavel had the movie made. It was his story, and he was the star.